Welcome to TalentMotives The Deep Dive, uncovering what drives you.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. For our dedicated learner out there, today's personalized deep dive is, well, it's all about motivation science.
Right, and we've got some really fascinating research to get into today.
Exactly. I mean, we all know the cliches, right? Like boomers want the corner office and Gen Z wants a nap pod.
Yeah, those lazy generational stereotypes.
Right. But today we have a stack of research that actually lets us skip those stereotypes. We're looking at the actual data behind why purpose-driven work is literally reprogramming management science. So, okay, let's unpack this. We know older generations historically valued stability and tenure-based hierarchy.
And loyalty, yeah.
Right, loyalty. While Gen Z prioritizes flexibility, mental health support, rapid feedback, and autonomy.
Yeah, it's a massive shift.
But there's something deeper happening here than just, wanting to work from home on Fridays.
Absolutely. It's a huge shift in perspective. You often hear that Gen Z just doesn't want to work, but the data tells a completely different story.
Because they aren't rejecting work itself.
Exactly. They are rejecting meaningless work. They are demanding roles that align with who they are on the inside. What's fascinating here is that organizations simply cannot rely on a one-size-fits-all retention strategy anymore.
Because the underlying values have fundamentally changed.
The traditional carrot-and-stick playbook is completely breaking down.
But wait, haven't we been talking about employee personality for decades? Like, is this just a rebranding of Myers-Briggs or those company offsite Enneagram tests?
That's a fair question. But this is where the science gets really specific. We aren't just talking about general traits.
It's about what the research calls motivation DNA, right?
Yes. And to measure it, scientists developed a tool called MQ.
The motivational quotient indicator.
Right. Think of it less like a personality quiz and more like a blood test for workplace engagement. It pinpoints intrinsic drivers, isolating variables like influence, curiosity, service, innovation, and altruism.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Because knowing someone's motivation DNA sounds great in theory, but how does a manager actually use that on a random Tuesday morning?
You can't just hand them a psych profile and say, good luck.
Right. And that's the missing link this research addresses with a companion tool called LiDi AI. It essentially ingests those MQ scores.
It acts as a daily management coach.
Exactly. Taking that abstract psychological data and translating it into practical, actionable guidance.
Like, it might tell a manager, hey, your team member is highly driven by curiosity, so make sure you frame today's assignment as a puzzle to solve.
Rather than a strict checklist, let's ground this with a real-world example. Say you've got a Gen Z employee whose motivation DNA is off the charts in innovation and curiosity.
If you drop that person into a highly repetitive, process-heavy role, they disconnect entirely.
By week 2, no matter how much you pay them.
Exactly. But if you carve out some space, maybe a side initiative where they can experiment and break things a little, their engagement skyrockets.
And on the flip side, what if their main driver is service and collaboration?
If you isolate that person in a silo, they'll drift. They need to see the human impact of what they do.
Yeah. So you put them on cross-functional, mission-driven teams with stakeholder visibility.
Yes, where they actually get to see how their work helps the client rather than just sending a spreadsheet into the void. Suddenly, they are completely energized.
For managers, this means completely adapting day-to-day tactics to things like shorter, highly targeted check-ins.
Leaning into project-based work and allowing incredible flexibility in how goals are achieved. If we connect this to the bigger picture by focusing intensely on intrinsic motivation rather than just age, we completely bypass those lazy generational cliches.
We start treating employees as the unique individuals they actually are. So what does this all mean? Well, for you listening, whether you are actively managing Gen Z employees right now or you simply want to better understand your own workplace drivers, the core takeaway is clear.
Compensation just isn't enough anymore.
Meaning and alignment are the new currency. If the work doesn't resonate with your motivation DNA, a paycheck is really just a Band-Aid.
It forces us to reevaluate the entire corporate system from the ground up. Let me leave you with this final thought to mull over. If Gen Z is actively forcing the market to map careers based on personal values rather than years of service, will the traditional corporate career ladder eventually be entirely replaced by a fluid motivation matrix?
Wow, a motivation matrix.
Imagine a future where success is measured solely by personal fulfillment and value alignment rather than job titles.
That is definitely something to chew on, a totally different paradigm for growth. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep learning, keep questioning, and we'll catch you next time.
Find out more about MQi and LiDi AI by visiting our website at TalentMotives.com.